I'm Dame Stephanie Shirley, but in the days when I was working at Dollis Hill, I was Miss Brooke. I worked there for 8 years, from 1951 to 1959. My childhood was very different because I arrived in this country as an unaccompanied child refugee in 1939. And that 2.5-day journey and the changes that were involved in going into a new family, new country, new language, new food, new everything, really has made a terrific difference to me and has driven my life. Because I'd learnt to deal with that enormous change, it gave me confidence for the future that nothing was going to throw me. I also learnt that I enjoy change, and that's useful in the digital world. As a child, I was fascinated by mathematics. I really wanted to be the world's greatest mathematician. But girls' schools didn't teach science in those days, so they sent me to the boys' school for my mathematics lessons. That was an early introduction to sexism. Although I had a very happy childhood, it was quite impoverished, and I was desperate to start earning some money. I really wanted to be independent. I was sick and tired of being supported by charities, so that's why I wanted a job. Dollis Hill at that time was a highly respected establishment that somebody had pointed me towards. It was a big, impressive building with a grand portico on the front with foot-high letters, "Research is the door to tomorrow." I was very lucky to get there at 18. They were interested in my future, whereas other interviewers that I'd had were not interested in my future, they just wanted my labour. I started work as a very junior research assistant. I've described it sometimes as a mathematical clerk. I was pounding a desk calculator on calculations that other people had set for me, and it was my task to work neatly, to work methodically, to present my findings in an appropriate way. One of the first things that struck me about Dollis Hill was that there were 2 pay scales, one for men and one lower pay scale for women. And I really could not understand this, I couldn't accept this. It made a deep impression on me that anyone should set up such a system. I was at Dollis Hill for many happy years, and what happened was that as I became more senior, the sexism became stronger and I was more implacably resented, especially at the graduate level. People were overtly saying, "I will never appoint a woman to this graduate position." And that's hard to battle against. I had the great privilege of working with Tommy Flowers in his division for several years. We were working on the telephone exchange and also on the premium bond computer, Ernie. He was a slim man, always dressed the same in a 3-piece suit, but he was a gentleman. He listened to his staff, he was kind to his staff. I never got a slightest sexism out of him. He was really, I'm often asked if I have a mentor, and I don't, but I would like to think that Tommy Flowers was the sort of innovative manager that I wanted to be. Ernie, the electronic random number indicator equipment, was my major postgraduate task that I did for the post office. It was set up in 1957 in order to encourage post-war Britain to save in a slightly different way by gambling with the interest on their money rather than risking the capital. I was responsible for checking the randomness of the machine, and I reported every month to Parliament. When I was properly qualified, I asked my boss, Ettrick Thompson, to put me up for promotion as an assistant experimental officer, and he blankly refused. And I'm not one to take refusals easily, so I applied for that job as an outside candidate, and I got it. And Ettrick never really forgave me.